Hey, welcome to the Maybe You're Like Me podcast with me, Mike Burns. Listen, I know we're all more alike than we care to think. We've all got dreams, we've all got hopes, but sometimes we can feel a little alone trying to navigate in this crazy world we live in. So, this podcast is all about you, and it's all about me and how maybe we're a little more alike than we care to think. Welcome to Maybe You're Like Me.
On today's episode, we are talking to Sean Dietrich, or you might know him as Sean of the South. Sean is an amazing writer. He's written like 14 books, and he's just a really down-to-earth good guy. You're going to love this conversation with Sean Dietrich.
Sean, welcome to Maybe You're Like Me. It is so good to meet you. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm pleased to be here.
This is so much fun. Now, here on the podcast, we're just trying to find ways we're more alike. And this is the first time that I've actually talked to somebody that, like, I just based on dialect and the way that we're talking, I think we're a little bit alike and a little bit different. So while we're both in the southern part of the United States, we've got a little bit more of a country twang than I do. So.
Well, I don't know how that happened. It happened naturally.
Well, Sean, so there's people out there that maybe are bumping into you for the first time here on the podcast. For those people that don't know you, or maybe not have heard of you before, give us the rundown. Who is Sean Dietrich?
He is that was perfect. He is a guy who was born naked at a very young age.
Okay.
And who's never really known what he was going to be or how he was going to be it. And somewhere in his life, right around his late 20s, he went back to school because he dropped out when he was a kid. Actually, I dropped out when I was 12 years old. Went back to school when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and finished community college. And after that, decided that perhaps he'd give writing a shot because he'd always loved to read, always loved to write. And now here he is before you. Close.
That's awesome. And from what I'm picking up, a little bit of a musician as well.
Yeah, I always played music. Always played music in church and in places your mother didn't want you to be. So, so got a very, very good dose of both worlds.
And you are also, you've been from all around the South, but you it started out in Jacksonville. Is that right?
I was born in Missouri, actually. Okay. And then we moved when I was a kid to the Panhandle of Florida, and that's been home. We were only 40 miles from the Alabama line, so we were that part of Florida that is really more L.A., lower Alabama.
And how did you pick up the moniker Sean of the South?
Well, a friend of mine, a friend of my wife and I's actually, were having breakfast one day. And I told her that I was writing and doing all this stuff. And she said, you got to have a good name. I said, well, what do you suggest? She's like, I don't know, something that talks about your Southern roots and all that. So we toyed with names, maybe Sean with the Wind, or, and so she came up with the name Sean of the South, like the song, like the old Disney movie, Song of the South.
Yeah.
Where they did Zippity Doo Dah, and then the Alabama song of the South.
Yeah.
So Sean of the South, that's how.
Well, there you have it. I like it. I love it. All right. So here on the podcast, again, we're trying to figure out ways that we're all alike. And so even though geographically we're kind of close and all that, we all have our differences. We all have the things that are alike too. And so if we're going to get to know you on a little bit of a deeper level, we got to start with the surface level. And so the way that people really connect with each other now, it seems, is via the internet and via the Instagram feed. And so if you were trying to flex on somebody and really show off, who is the filtered Sean? Who is the guy that you want to portray and you really want to put out there?
Wow.
Or what are people going to see when they get on your Instagram? Who is that, Sean?
Well, we try very, very hard to just be totally the way we are. My wife, I try to take pictures of her without makeup on. And I don't ever obviously comb my hair. You can see on this video. And I try I try actually pretty hard to be just who I am on the feed. But on the feed, you'll probably see a lot of dogs, which is true to life. My life is dominated by dogs. You'll see a lot of our live shows, and that's true too. I mean, we spent all, last couple weeks on the road doing the live shows. So that's a big part of our life. And you'll see, what else will you see? I guess you'll see pictures of the food my wife makes. She's a very, very good cook, but that's all kind of true to life too. She's always cooking. So I don't really know. I don't know. That's a really good question though. I don't know if I answered it.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you my answer based on what I've seen on your Instagram feed. The thing that I really enjoy, and the reason that I've been so excited to meet you, is your Instagram feed is just full of people that you meet at shows or at church. And whether it's a kid that made you a craft or somebody that you've known a long time and has been integral in your story, it seems like you really enjoy and love people. And I can connect with that. I love that. So, and if that's true to who you are, then I like you. So
that is, I love people, especially because I grew up in kind of a tough way. So I was really isolated from people. And then when you come to this stage in your life where, like you said, you realize you're not alone and they're a lot like you. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, being close to people feels so much more nourishing than anything you've ever felt before in your life. You realize that you have this community that's always been around you. So I love people. And I love getting to know people. I mean, sometimes I need my break too, because sometimes I'm around a lot of people for long periods, and I need to get into the woods. But anyway, I love kids. I love people.
That's awesome. Now, the way I actually bumped into you first was because you've just released a new book called "You Are My Sunshine," which is fun for me. I was born in Texas, but raised in Florida my whole life. And so it's fun seeing "You Are My Sunshine" as a book title because that's our state song. And so
that's right.
Yeah. And so
that's exactly right.
So what inspired "You Are My Sunshine"? What is "You Are My Sunshine" all about?
Well, a long time ago when I first got married, my wife had kind of a cancer scare, breast cancer. And it was pretty traumatic, and she wanted to do something. When you go through something like that, you want to do something to reaffirm your life, I guess, be alive. And so she really wanted to do these 2 trails that start in Pittsburgh and finish in Virginia, go across 4 states. Okay. They're like 350 miles. And I promised her that I would do it with her in the heat of the moment. And then many, many years later, she cashed in on that promise after I'd forgotten about it. So we went during the pandemic, and we started in Pittsburgh on bicycles with nothing but her bicycle, and I rode a 3-wheeled trike, which looks like the flagship for old men. And we rode 350 miles all together with our stops and everything. It turned out to be around 400 miles that we pedaled, and it took us forever. And when you're done with an accomplishment like that, for someone who's not an athlete like me, there's really nothing else you can do besides write a book about it. So there I did.
Would you consider yourself a biker now? Did you guys get leather jackets and patches and the whole nine?
Nope. I'm totally not anything close. I've got this little trike, this trike that I ride sometimes, but I still don't think I'm a cyclist.
Oh, I believe in you. I believe that you are a cyclist. I'm gonna give you that moniker. It's you and Lance Armstrong on top there. So
there we go.
That's incredible. And your wife Jamie, from what I've seen online, she seems like an amazing person, and you guys did good in finding each other.
She is. She's got several degrees, and so when I met her and I had none, she was really a force in motivating me and helping me and tutoring me and getting me through something I really wanted to do. She changed my life in so many ways, but too many ways to count. But yes, she's an amazing woman.
That's awesome. Something that I'm noticing too, you have a wind chime that keeps when the wind blows. But to me, it sounds like one of those books or those audio books from the 90s. Up there it goes, time to change the page.
That's so true. Now that you say that, I'm never going to look at that chime the same way again.
Well, only when you're recording a podcast. That's just like from here on out, whenever it chimes, we're just going to go to the next question, no matter what. Sound good?
Okay. That's good.
We're going to change the page. So actually, speaking of, it's going off right now. And here on Maybe You're Like Me, we like to do things in a couple rounds. And so this first round, I call it the first date round. And it's questions you would ask on a first date because a long time ago, I had the idea to write a book that was my awkward guide to blank. And the blank could be anything, my awkward guide to jujitsu, my awkward guide to finance. I don't know, anything. And so I had the only one that I could ever think of an example for was my awkward guide to dating. And so the best thing to do on a first date, you're trying to find out if you and the person are similar. So you ask questions, but you just got to ask the right questions. And so there's fun things you can ask, like, are you a dog or cat person? Are you a dog or cat person?
Me, I'm a dog person.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm allergic to both, but you know what? I like them all the same. So, but then like there's questions that you can ask that can lead to better conversations. And so these are some first date questions. You don't have to take them too seriously unless you really want to, and then we can really dig deep on this first date. But just imagine it's you and I over a cup of coffee or eating a slice of pizza. So
awesome.
Or actually, let's have our own pieces of pizza. I don't want to share mine.
Amen.
All right. So what I've picked up from you is in your writings and all that, you're a good storyteller. And so I'm really hoping you've got a good story on this one. But what's the worst job you've ever had? It could have been your first job or anything in the middle.
A telemarketer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I worked just for a short time I had done a lot of blue collar stuff. Uh-huh. And I decided, well, it might not be bad to sit inside, do dial a phone all day. Oh boy, you basically face rejection on a universal scale. I mean, you forget how rejection in any form just really stinks, and these people get rejected at least 7 million times per day, and I lasted for about 48 hours. Oh, no. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I could not do it.
Oh, man. In that 48 hours, did you have any interesting interactions, or was it just all a bunch of phone slamming on you?
There was a lot of phone slamming. There was one lady who mistook that I was trying to pick up her dry cleaning for her or something. Okay. And I'm not real sure how that came about, but I had to explain to this elderly woman that, no, I'm not going to town for you to pick up your dry cleaning. Actually, I don't even know you, and I don't even live in your same city. And then I think she ended up just hanging up the phone on me.
Oh, man. I kind of want to dig in a little deeper and find out if that woman ever got her dry cleaning. If she's still out there searching for it somewhere.
I hope she got it.
You should have gone the second mile and found out where her dry cleaning was.
Well, I think she lived in like Oregon or something like that. So, I was in Florida. That would have cost me a lot to get her dry cleaning.
Listen, that's an adventure in itself. You might have died of dysentery on the way on the old Oregon Trail.
That's right.
That's awesome. Okay, man, I haven't had a ton of jobs in my life. I've worked in a church for the last 15 years, and before that I was a busboy. Actually, the worst part of that, I was a server and a busboy. The worst thing about being a busboy was on nights that the restaurant was incredibly busy. The dumpster in the back would fill up beyond, like, it would be overflowing. And so they would lay a layer of cardboard on the top of the dumpsters and then have us, like, I was 14, 15-year-old busboys jump on top of the cardboard on top, and inevitably the cardboard would rip, and then like I'd be like knee deep in bloomin' onion leftovers, and it wasn't my favorite, but you can't win them all.
Man, that is bad. You must have worked in an Outback.
For the sakes of, actually, they're our sponsor today, Outback Steakhouse. Just kidding. It was a good time. But you make the best of it. You meet a lot of interesting people in restaurants. So
that is true. I have worked as a busboy, and I have worked as in back of the house in kitchen, fry cooking, and one time thought maybe I would do food service, but that is a hard job.
It's grueling. So especially all that, like people that are actually working with like the fry side of things. That's tough stuff, man.
Oh, it's nasty. You're burnt. When you get burned, you get burned. Yeah. And when you get home, you are just grease. You are just just big slob of grease. It is just.
Yeah. I served at Outback when I was in college, and they had that I think it's pumpernickel bread that everybody loves so much. That always got warmed up in this little convection oven. And the way it worked out to get it was you'd either reach in with your hand or some tongs to get it out. But all of the servers had a scar right about here. From reaching in to grab the bread and just getting burned on the way out. That's a bad day.
I would always get that bread when they give it. I'd ask for a big side of ranch dressing to go with it.
Okay. You're fancy.
And I would just dip that bread in that ranch. I could go through 4 or 5 sides of ranch before that bread was finished. Because y'all had good ranch.
Oh, yeah. A little insider tip. If you were a broke college student, you could take that bread, cut it down the middle, and then fill it with cheese and put it back in the oven and make a at-home Outback bread grilled cheese. And for a broke college kid, getting a free grilled cheese was a good
that's
good
3
afternoon.
days worth of meals.
There you go. All right, let's keep moving along. I think the wind chimed. It's time for us to keep moving.
Right.
All right. So are you a fan of the Olympics?
Yeah, I am. Summer.
Okay, Summer Olympics. I like them both. It's just fun seeing the world, everybody, the best in the world, get together and compete. If there's any Olympic event that you had to be competitive in and on the world stage, I'll give you 3 years to practice. Like that's not the issue. But if you had to be competitive in an Olympic sport, which one do you think you could actually medal in?
Like, okay, seriously, like actually compete, like maybe do okay.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I wouldn't do okay. I know I couldn't do okay, but
I believe in you. You could do this.
But maybe I could do like archery.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I'm not even sure. Actually, is that an Olympic event anymore? I think it is.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I could. When I was a kid, I used to have a compound bow and arrow that I bought from one of my dad's old friends, and he was a hunter. And I used to carry that sucker all around, and I had a long bow, and I'd practice with it. And I never hunted with a bow, and I didn't really want to hunt with a bow. I just like shooting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe I could do something like that.
I think you could be dangerous. Mine's less interesting. What's that? The sport curling, where they you push the rock, try to get it in the circle.
I have a friend who was a competitive curler who they actually, let me see, they were supposed to go to the Olympics, and I think they went to the Olympics and she didn't because she got sick. It was a long time ago.
No.
She was a Canadian and a competitive curler.
Oh man. After this, I want the contact information, and maybe that's the sport for me. I don't know. I'm not a very athletic person, but get me into some curling. We could do that.
I've never done it. It seems kind of fun actually to me.
Yeah. So that would be my hope, that I could actually enjoy doing it, whatever event it is. So I thought about, like, I don't know how I would do with like the accuracy shooting or bow and arrow. Maybe those would work out, but I don't know. I'd probably get the hiccups and shoot somebody else's target. So I don't know. All right. One last question in this round. And even just hearing about your story from You Are My Sunshine, traveling all those trails on the bike, but you've seen parts of this country that I probably haven't, and I may have seen a few places that you haven't. But what is the most beautiful place you've ever been to? And I'm going to go ahead and open this up to the entire globe. The
entire globe. Well, I hadn't been many places. I have never left the continental U.S. The closest I've ever come is going to Tijuana. And I would say the prettiest place, just for sheer visual beauty, which I keep going back to, is Arizona, but particularly the Grand Canyon. But I don't like the. Yeah. I mean, the tourist spot is fine, but I once spent 21 days hiking around and camping in the Grand Canyon when I was younger. I wasn't wasn't doing anything rigorous. I just was seeing stuff. And it was just profound for me. The level of spiritual nourishment I feel out there is deep. And then, so I've been back a lot of times since then. And even I'll probably go this year, and we go all around, not just the canyon, but I just feel I feel something there. When I wake up early in the morning, if we stay at Bright Angel Cabins, I'll go for a walk around the north rim of the canyon. Yeah. And it is, you see that sun come up over those canyon walls. It's really something. So maybe that.
Oh man, that sounds beautiful. I haven't been to the Grand Canyon since I was an infant or a young baby. And so I've got pictures of me there, but it's not quite the same.
It's moving. It's moving. And everybody, I think what I dislike about it is that it's become Disney World. You go there and you'll see people from all over the globe, and it has a very heavy, phony tourist vibe. And I think they cater to like some 1 million automobiles every 4 months or something like that. So it's very heavily trafficked, and you get that sense. But if you can find a spot where you're just you in the canyon, it'll really, I don't know, it does something to you as an adult. Because I went when I was a kid once. But as an adult, it's so different for me.
Yeah, I think places like that make you feel small in a good way do something good for your heart and your head.
Yeah. So, yeah. True. What about you?
I mentioned earlier that I work at a church, so we have different trips around the world, and so I've got to travel to places like Central and South America and Kenya, and like you just said, I like being in a place where I can look out, and unless I'm very much trying to, I'm the only person within miles, like outside of my group, but being able to look out and see nature everywhere. It's I'm more of a great indoorsman for the most part, but there's something special about being on top of a mountain, especially being in Florida. But everything's flat here.
That is so true.
But being able to look out and see mountains or big hills and just something different that makes you feel a little small to recognize like how big the world is and how beautiful the world is. It's great.
So true. So true. Yeah. Being from Florida too, the tallest hike I'd ever done was to the top of the Sea Oats Dune, right before you go to the beach. Now we have, where we live in Birmingham now, we've got this mountain. We've got several mountains, and they're the foothills of the Appalachians. And Jamie and I go out and hike all the time now. And it is, my whole life I've wanted to be able to have access to something like that. And I thought, well, if I did have access to it, would I use it very often? And as of right now, I definitely am using it a lot. I don't see how that goes in the next 20 years, but.
No, it's great. It's great being able, like, there's certain people that, like if I lived, I grew up my whole life living 5 minutes from the beach, 5-10 minutes from the beach. And I went to the beach maybe once a year. I'm just not a beach person. But I think that if I was in a space where I like being able to look out and look for miles. And so finding those places where you can really kind of get away from it all, clear your head. I think I might take a little bit more advantage of that. So but in the same breath, my wife and I, when we went on our honeymoon, we went to Pigeon Forge in Tennessee, and talking about being touristy.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. That's a tough place because I'm with you there. And speaking of the beach, it's funny because where we just moved from in Walton County, Florida, it turned into a tourist paradise, that town. Mm-hmm. It turned into a mecca. We had so many tourists, and the whole economy that bursted up out of that was all tourism. So all the restaurants, didn't matter if it was good food, it was just about the tourists. And you don't have to serve them great food, just serve them something and get them out of there and do the volume. Well, because of that, growing up that way, I don't love the beach either. I went to the beach maybe once every 3 or 4 years, like you said. No interest in going around and hanging out with the oily bodies, the albinos. But now that I don't live here, I live there. I do kind of miss it, actually.
Yeah.
Weird.
I have friends that say that like, they never want to live like more than an hour away from a major body of water. And I'm just like, meh, I'm good either way. So I just never been a water person.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. So that was the first date round. You were an excellent first date. Hopefully you enjoyed your cup of coffee there. This next round is something I like to call it the slow round. And this round of questions is less head answers. It's less do you like the beach, and more like peel a couple of layers down more to the heart. And so these are and you can answer as honestly as you want to, or let's just go with honesty though. How does that sound?
Or dishonestly.
Yeah. So we've already kind of talked about it a little bit, and I just wonder what the answer is for you. But if responsibility wasn't an issue, so you didn't have to worry about money or any of the adult things that you have to worry about it as an adult, how would you spend your time?
Well, I'm doing it because I think when I turned, I guess 30 or 31, when I kind of started writing, I officially retired. I had been working construction and food service and all that, and this was retired. So I have been retired, if you will, from labor. And I do now things that I really enjoy, which is writing, which is we do our podcast, and it's a live podcast, and we do just live shows, and we meet people and get to go to school, take our blind dog into schools and all that. It's, if you look at it from another perspective, maybe my publishers or other people in that industry, they would say, he works really hard. Yeah. But I don't feel like I'm working. And it's not, I don't mean that like, find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I'm not saying that. I'm literally telling you, I'm doing what I would do if I were retired. Yeah. I'm not, I'm very fortunate to be able to go with that right now. And who knows how long that'll last. But so right now I could die happy. Yeah. I don't feel constrained in any way. So it's nice. When you were younger, like, did 20-year-old you know that that's what you wanted to do? Or is that something that you kind of picked up as you were going through it? No, 20-year-old me really didn't know that. I've thought I'd do a lot of things. I've dreamed about doing a lot of things. Yeah. The number one dream was to be a musician. I practiced so much in my music. Practiced, the piano is my main instrument. I practiced the piano for decades out of my life. I've been playing since I was 9 years old, and thought that I would be a pianist. I thought if I could get in front of the right whatever. I played with every single band in our area, all the way up to Atlanta and all the way down to middle Florida. I just figured that's what would happen for me. I would go into being a sideman in a band for playing piano. Yeah. And then I realized that's, you have a better chance of doing that than being an astronaut. And so I just kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'd be a local musician. I just kind of stick around and play local. And I did. And then just felt really disappointed in myself and thought, well, maybe I'll try this. So I'd try construction work. Nothing worked. So the first winning horse I ever rode was doing what I'm doing now. It felt really good to be on the horse. And but I never had any idea that I would go this direction. Yeah. I'm sorry about my dog. Oh, it's fine. That's my dog. Find a squirrel up a tree or something? Probably. She's in the backyard. I have no idea. Well, it's good to make the introduction to her. What's her name? Her name's Marigold. She's blind, so she uses her voice a lot. She's echolocating. That's fantastic. Hey, and I've wondered if that's not the case. Yeah, that's fun. She is the daredevil of dogs. All right. So this is an assumption, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but you seem like just with the way that you present yourself, you seem like an easygoing kind of guy. And very much so, yeah. In that, though, I know you're human as well. And so I wonder, like, with people like you who do seem a little bit more laid back, easygoing, like, is worry a part of your life? And if so, like, what do you actually worry about? Oh yeah. Worry for me is kind of a remnant left over from a tragic childhood that I had. So worry really becomes a go-to emotion.
Yeah.
When things aren't going right, I'm just gonna worry about it. I don't even have to worry about the thing that's not going right.
Yeah.
I'll worry about something that can receive that negative energy that I feel like giving. And I'll worry about health has always been a big one. You worry about, is this thing serious or is this not? Let's see. I think I've been rejected so much in my life that oftentimes I worry if somebody or some situation I'm in am I being rejected? Are they just really not into me? Do they not like me? Did I say something wrong? And I can really mull over something like that for a long time. Did I make a fool of myself? Because I guess the way I grew up, I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be part of the crowd, and I wasn't. So now at this stage, I still worry. Do these people like me? Am I likable? Am I just a big old idiot? And
coming from a big old idiot, I understand.
So I worry about stuff like that, and then you name it. The typical run of the mill stuff. So worry is definitely there, but I don't worry in the same way that that a type A person might worry. They worry very differently, and mine is more internal. It's more inwardly aimed, and that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. But they're both bad. But aiming it inwardly and not speaking about it and all that, that's ugly.
Yeah, I think so you were talking about relationally, like, do people actually like me, or are they just putting up with me for whatever's sake? I absolutely feel that. I'm a middle child, and I'm extroverted and out there, and sometimes I just worry, am I too much? Am I being too much for anybody in a given situation? And because of my position or our location or any other list of things, are they just putting up with me because they have to? And so I understand that worry for sure.
Well, an old friend who was in a band with me, he was 75 and I was 20, and we were in a band together, and he played bass, upright bass. Okay. And he was a retired psychologist, and he told me once when I was kind of worrying about something that I'd said stupid or whatever, did these people like me, kind of thing. Yeah. He said, when you start to worry about that, what's really happening is your ego is kicking in to defend you, because that's the ego's job. The ego's job is to defend you at all costs, to make you come out on top. And he said, if you're feeling that, what you're really feeling is a really, really strong ego. And you don't even probably know that you feel like you have this low ego, but really that ego is speaking and saying, hey, what about me? What about me? And it's not going to go quietly into the night. And that really kind of made me feel bad because, I realized that a lot of that is just my own ego. My own ego needs to be stroked. That's sad, but so there you go.
Well, it's good to know that even a person who comes across as cool as a cucumber like you, that you everybody's got their things they're worrying about, and it's not something that everybody projects either. And so there's some people that when they're having a bad day all the time, but then there's people that you keep it under a layer or two, and it's not the front and foremost thing. And so again, the whole end goal of the podcast is that to talk about those things that we're not talking about all the time. And so it's good to know that there's somebody out there a little bit like me that even on the best days, you still got some things gnawing away at you in the back of your head. And even if it's your ego, you got a stroke. It's good to know that I'm not alone out there.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and sometimes you get around people who, one of my biggest problems is, and I wouldn't say this is necessarily worry in its classical sense. It's more of a frustration, more of a mild anxiety. Mm-hmm. When you get around people, especially in my field, whatever you call this field, they're competitive. They're very competitive, and they don't say that to you. They don't give you warning that, hey, I'm a competitive jerk. They just kind of, they are, and everything they do is a one up. I'm going to one up this guy. And a little bit of that will happen to me, and I will start to feel, I'll start to feel really low. I'll start to feel really crummy. And B, I'll feel a little competitiveness in me kick in, which I don't like because I'm not naturally that way.
Yeah.
And then I will just feel anxiety about that. And I found that these people who are very competitive, they far outnumber the ones that aren't. And they're all around. And so that's a constant thing I'm having to watch and keep in check with my own self, is when I get around someone like that, to not fall into it and play the game and worry and feel that low anxiety that comes with somebody who really needs to be the man. Just let him be the man. You're the man. Okay. Yeah. And you are awesome, and good for you.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not worth trying to compete like that. The comparison, competing, it ruins everything for everybody. And so,
especially on social media these days, that's become such a, my life is better than yours kind of thing. It's it's an interesting world. So I have a lot of friends who are authors, on my feed, who we've met through various book things, and every post is me trying to convince, them trying to convince whoever that I am awesome. Look at me. This is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. My career is this. My career is that. And I just think, I hope I never go there. I hope I never do that.
If you would like a confidence boost, I think that's, again, one of the things I enjoyed about when I found you on Instagram, and I enjoyed that you do seem like a real person, and that even if you're selling out arenas or that.
No, not arenas. Back Rotary Club rooms.
Okay. So we're at the Moose Lodge, but if you're selling out the Moose Lodge, whatever it is, no matter what, it's at the end of the day, you're not posting the crowd, you're posting a picture with a person. And so that, I think, and again, this is an assumption maybe, but I think for you, it's not the crowd, it's the person. And so that if you can make that connection with a person, or if you can find out the story of a person, then that's the win for you. It's not the crowd, it's the people that are being affected by it.
And I have my horrible childhood to credit with all this. I was made to feel so bad as a child. I went through such tough times as a kid that it really screws up your focus. But it also improves it in many ways. I think bad childhoods can be quite a blessing, because they put you in touch with a different part of our world and a different way of looking at our world. And I've met so many people who've gone through bad stuff, and they don't see the world the same way that they've been told to see the world. We're told to be successful. We're told to dominate and be, we're all told two things. We're all told you need to want to be a rock star and be famous, and you need to be rich. And those are two things that I'm not. And those are two things that would destroy you anyway. I mean, so anyway, now I'm just getting off into a left field, but what were we talking about again?
I'm tracking along with you all the same. All right. We'll keep the conversation moving for the sake of time, but I'm very much enjoying this. Again, I'm gonna keep thanking you for being here. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you, Sean.
I'm too.
Right.
I'm too.
All right. So one last question in this slow round, and have you listened to the musical Hamilton? The thing about Alexander Hamilton?
I have not. I should, but I have not.
I didn't peg you as much of a hip hop R&B guy, but all the same, one of the major lines in it is, you don't get to tell your own story. So the big thought was that Alexander Hamilton did all these great things, but people only know him for dying in a duel. So And so if you got to write your story, which you've gotten to write some of your stories, but if you got to say what people remember Sean for, what is that? What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be personally remembered for having made people feel good. That's really all I want to do. If I can make somebody feel better or good, even if it's just a short thing that I've written, or if it's if they come to something I've done, or if it's a conversation, or if it's dinner, or if I can make them feel good for those few minutes in time, then I've really done something with my life. That's what I'd like to be remembered for. I'd like people to remember Sean really, he tried to make people feel good.
Yeah. The something I've been thinking about recently for myself is, and it kind of goes along the same lines as that, like in my head, I struggle between, like, I feel like there's people that they come at you and they're always serious. And then there's people that they're just fun. And like on that scale, I lean heavy towards fun.
Yeah, me too.
But at the same time, the thing that I'm trying to remember for myself is that there's space for that. There's people that like that we need the serious people, but like I want you to feel warm once we've left each other. You know, I want you to feel good. And so in the same breath, the same way that you are, that's me too. That I like. And so for the longest time, I've thought about that as a negative. Like I never take that step deeper with people, but at the same time, there needs to be a little bit of joy in the world. And if I can help spread that, then I'm okay with that too. So
I'm total agreement. When I first started doing the speaking stuff, I had no idea what I was doing or why they were asking me to do it. Yeah. And, naturally you get up there and they wanted to hear my story. So I'd tell my life story, and that's a sad sob story. It's not a great story. And I realized after about the second time I had done that, that nobody gets together and wants to hang out and hear about your problems. They've got enough of their own. They want to be cheered up. That is what people want, in hands down, in every situation. I believe everybody on some level wants to be cheered up. And so I'm trying to bring cheer to anybody. And if you can cheer somebody up, you've done something. And if you can cheer them up to the point where they're even crying a little bit, that's God level.
I was talking to a friend the other day, Halloween just passed, and they were asking me, like, I don't know where Halloween stands on your podium of holidays. But for me, Halloween's pretty close to the end. It's right behind Arbor Day and Bastille Day. But for me, like and there's some people that hate on Christmas, and we're in the beginning of November here, and people are already putting up their Christmas trees and stuff. Yeah. But for me, there's nothing like a whole season dedicated to joy and and cheer. And
I'm with you.
If you lean towards the Christian faith that God brought light into the world, that's the kind of stuff that I can get behind and I love.
Oh, and giving, I mean, I'm going to give a gift to somebody and surprise them with it for no reason at all. What a neat concept, holiday or not. I'm going to do something really, really kind for somebody because this is the season that's acceptable. I'm going to secretly donate to this, whatever. I'm going to go volunteer for this. People do that at Christmas, and they never do it any other time. I don't ever do it like I should every other time of year. I wish I should, but I'm with you. Halloween, I never really liked Halloween as a kid. I didn't love scary costumes, so
Yeah, me either. I've never been a big fan of getting scared, so I don't know.
Don't love blood. Don't love blood and guts and all that. Just I always dressed up as good as puny, stupid things like an angel. One year I dressed up as an angel. It was a real joke. Let me tell you, Robin Hood, that kind of stuff.
The all that said, I'm a big fan of candy, so you got to find the balance in there somewhere.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So on the podcast, we ask everybody this one question, and I'm going to ask you, and it could be something as small as learning to fish or something big in your life you're learning, but what's something you're learning right now?
Learning. You answer that because I got to think about that. What are you learning?
Okay, so you're the first person to ask me back. So how dare you? Something I'm learning right now is in my job, I am working more with people, whereas before I would do a project by myself, and it may not always be the best, but I'm trying to learn how to work with people instead of lone wolfing it. And so I am not there yet. I've left more than a few meetings recently, either myself frustrated or the other people in the meeting frustrated with me. But I'm trying to learn how to be a better collaborator and teammate. So that's what I'm
That's
learning
really
right now.
good. That's really good. Well, okay, then on that vein, I'm learning how to be less disciplined, which
Okay.
I'm really disciplined, and it's not a great thing. It sounds really good and we admire it, but it probably comes from a place of underconfidence anyway. And so, so I keep myself on a very, very strict routine because my days feel better if I have a disciplined routine. If I wake up and I don't so much wake up at the same time, but mostly I do. And I start work at the same time and I finish at the same time and I do everything at the same time.
Yeah.
I have been trying to shift that schedule and forget the schedule altogether sometimes and not do one part of my routine or not do the whole routine altogether. And it's actually very difficult for me because I feel comfortable with a routine. And once that routine's removed, I feel lost and abandoned. So, So I'm learning to be less disciplined, Mama.
I think I'd have to go the opposite way of that. I'm more spontaneity. I'm shoot first, look second, jump first, figure it out second. So, good on you for trying to be more like me, and maybe I'll work on being a little bit more like you.
Okay, there you go. Wow, you don't want to be like me, I promise.
You seem to be doing all right. All right. So thank you for being honest with that too. That's good. All right. So here, we're in the last round here, and I call this the common ground round. And in a second, you got your Post-it notes and your marker there with you. I've got some 3x5 cards. And what we're going to do is this. I'm going to ask you a this or that question. And you write down whichever one you are. And the whole goal is to see if maybe you and me are alike. And so we'll get this figured out. To take some pressure off of you, I have done this 16, or you're the 16th person I've done this with, and the only person who's got them all the same as me is my wife. And so no pressure if we're not exactly alike, but you could be the first non-familial person to get all these the same as me. So we'll see how it ends up. Okay.
All right.
So say you're going camping. Would you rather camp in a tent or an RV? I've already got a feeling we're going to be different on this one. And again, I'm going to go ahead. All right. You ready for it?
Yes.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I put RV. You put... Oh, he drew a tent, and it's a beautiful tent too.
Now that's new. I always have been into the RV thing. But now, after having done it a little bit, I really enjoy being out.
Yeah. I'm in my mid 30s, and it was a couple years ago, took my son camping for the first time, took my oldest son camping for the first time. And, sleeping on the ground, I woke up and everything hurt. And I was like, I don't know if this is for me anymore.
Well, you got to have a really good I have a little travel air mattress that is I'm not going to lie. It's expensive to have a good one. Once I finally found the really good one, it makes all the difference. Not just some of the difference, all the difference.
I'm going to shoot you an email after this. I want the link for that, guys. So,
Yeah, I will. I'll give you.
and maybe we can get sponsored by Air Mattress Weekly or whoever makes that. Fantastic. All right. This one might be a little bit harder to draw, but we're going to see what you can do on it. All right. When it comes to dogs, would you rather go Basset Hound or Golden Retriever?
Okay.
And the only reason I know how to spell this is because it is right in front of me. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I went Golden Retriever. You went, I'm guessing that's a Basset Hound. Doesn't look very golden.
It is. That's a Basset Hound. So we're not even the same yet.
No, it'll happen eventually. I believe in us.
I love hounds. I'm a huge hound guy. I own, well, not own. They own me. I have two.
Okay.
2 hounds.
I'd seen your dogs online, so I had a solid guess that that's what it was going to be.
Well, but I think it's my mother and my wife, and they all say that I look like a bloodhound, like I've got saggy eyes or whatever. So, which is basically
is that a compliment, or what are they going for there?
Not sure.
Yeah, I don't. I had a friend growing up that had a golden retriever, and it just seemed like a great dog. So,
I love Goldens too.
What was that movie?
Air Bud.
Not Airbud. No, it was 2 dogs and a cat that found their owners.
Incredible Journey.
Yeah, is it Homeward Bound?
Homeward Bound,
right?
Yeah, Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey.
Yeah, so that probably did it for me too. I think there was a golden
retriever in there. That's actually a really, really old movie, like from the 60s, I think. I just figured that out because I love that movie too.
It's great. So that was definitely
Michael
a childhood
J. Fox doing the voice. I love that movie.
And it's a tearjerker too when they all show up at the end there.
Yeah, what's the golden retriever's name? Patch? No, he's the old man.
I will let's take a quick break here. I will add this in post. And or we'll just pull up IMDb and figure it out for sure. But that was a good one for sure in the thing. All right. So again, forgive me. I've done my homework on this one. I think I know what your answer is going to be. But you're a Southern gentleman. When it comes to cornbread, are you going sweet or savory?
Should I write it or?
Yes, write it. Okay. So I have strong opinions on this one, and we can fight on it if you want to. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, you went savory. I went sweet.
I have strong opinions on it too. To me, cornbread should not be sweet. If you put sugar in your cornbread, you're a communist and you don't love the Lord.
All right, here's my thing. I grew up on Jiffy cornbread, and Jiffy's sweet. And so
it is good though. Jiffy is good. Is it sweet? I hadn't had it in years. I just remember it being really good.
Yep. So let's just go ahead and say we can agree on Jiffy. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. We'll go there. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be labeled a communist and godless either. So. All right. You said earlier your wife is a great cook. Do you have any? Are you a cook as well?
Some, not nearly what she is. Some, yeah.
All right. So when it comes to dinner time, would you rather cook or do the dishes?
Should I write? We're writing this down. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Write it on down. Let me know when you're ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I put cook. You put dishes.
because if I'm doing the dishes, that means Jamie, my wife, cooked, and it's going to be a better meal. You go. Way better. If I'm cooking, probably I'll be doing the dishes too. So
yeah. All right. So I'm guessing this is a laundry list of things, but what is your favorite thing she makes?
Chicken and dumplings.
Oh, good choice.
She makes it by the hand way. She rolls the dumplings, and oh my God. So for this past year, I think I ate chicken and dumplings. I think we figured it up for almost 100 days consecutively every dinner.
That's impressive.
That's
And
impressive
it's
that she would
amazing.
make it that often. But
Yeah.
she
How's your cholesterol doing? Are you just rocking a bunch of gravy in your veins there? Or?
It is actually very, very high.
Well, I didn't mean to bring that up.
Yeah, no, it was, and I've had to scale back if I wanted to live.
Yeah, good call. I love me some that. As far as Southern food goes, my mom makes the best chicken fried steak. And so,
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think you just had a spiritual moment there.
Yep. That's really up my wheelhouse too.
Yeah, because of that though, my mom is a great cook and she taught me to cook, and so,
Nice.
I would much rather be the one cooking, and I very much hate doing dishes. But
Yeah, well, I don't love it. But I like to eat better. So
here's the deal so far. So you and we are 0 for 4 right now. But here's the thing though. I think actually we would be good friends and good compatriots because outside of the tent camping, you and we could just share things. And so you could have your hounds. I'll have my golden retriever. You can have your savory cornbread. I'll have my sweet. I can do the cooking. You can do the dishes. I think we're a match made in heaven right now.
Yeah, I think we're working. Yeah.
All right. This is one last one. And let's see if we can get one together, you and I.
Okay.
We're getting close to Thanksgiving here. And are you a pie guy? Do you enjoy a pie?
I love pies.
All right. So comes to Thanksgiving dinner. Are you going pumpkin pie or pecan pie?
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, this one's tough. This is actually the toughest one for me. These are my two go-tos. So I'm having.
Really?
They are. Or do you have a different one that you enjoy more? Let's just go with classic.
Actually, what I wrote down is actually my favorite.
Really?
My favorite. Yeah, my favorite pie.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I went pumpkin. Which way did you go? Pecan.
That's my favorite pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite, and my mother makes it to where it's immobilizingly sweet. I mean, you can hardly even move because it's just nothing but pure sugar. But pumpkin to me is, the greatest pumpkin pie you've ever had is really not that much different than the worst pumpkin pie you've ever had. The difference is kind of negligible. It's really just a vehicle for nutmeg and allspice.
Yeah, all day. So that's, I think, honestly, what I like most about the holiday season is that you pull out random spices that you don't use the rest of the year.
That's true.
And so, you don't get a lot of nutmeg and allspice any other time, but around Thanksgiving, Christmas, those bad boys come out, and that's good eating right there.
I do enjoy pumpkin pie, but just not. I wouldn't crawl across the sea of broken glass, for it.
I understand that. All right. So again, I found you recently via your Instagram, and so for people that want to follow you and maybe get to know you better on Instagram, you are at Sean of the South, SEAN of the South, all spelled out, and then you have your website as well. Which is SeanDietrich.com, correct?
That's it. Yep, that's it.
And the thing that's fun, like I've gotten to follow along for the last little bit, and you write most every day, and that's where I found out that you enjoy your savory cornbread, and you're just good at writing. Like you're a kind of guy that I'd want to hang out around a campfire with and just hear the stories you got coming out of you.
Right before we go back into the RV.
Yeah, right before we go back into the RV. Yeah, absolutely. On an actual mattress, not
you're too kind. You're too kind to me. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, so I'm pleased that it hits you well.
Well, yeah. If nobody else enjoys it, you got me pegged. So, and you and I can share some pies, or
hey.
You could do the dishes. I'll make some chicken fried steak.
Yeah, really. Now that we can agree on.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Sean, thank you so much for joining us on Maybe You're Like Me. This has been an absolute honor and pleasure. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. This has been the most fun podcast I have done in a long time.
Oh, man, that means a lot to me. Again, I hope that it's a joy for people when they bump into me, and I hope that they if they haven't bumped into you before, they get to know you a little better via the internet. So thank you for putting stuff out there for us to enjoy. So
hey, man,
sounds good.
Thank you.
Well, and for everyone listening, thank you for joining us this week. Next week, we are going to continue our Sean series with Sean Penn. Actually, that's not true either. So thanks again, Sean.
Thank you.